So we've been working through the last couple of days on the Kosoto position. We're going to continue doing that for a long time now. Both sides are primarily concerned right now with the part on bottom. So if you're on your knees. So again, for the people who haven't been to the last couple of classes, Kosoto position is this. The idea is that I tried a single leg, it failed, and he's in kind of a sprawl. So we've had a couple of situations of my opponent, just knees together. Yeah, so we've had a couple of situations of my opponent's not on that right, and I can just pull him down. We've had a situation where he's a bit smarter, he tries to stand up. Stand up. Yeah, and I can just get a takedown from here. We've had the situation where he tries to sprawl out, and I get my hook. Yeah, and we've started to have more intelligent options where I can start pulling out my arm and everything. So now we're going to keep going with this idea of my opponent is progressively getting smarter and better, and how do I beat the smarter and better opponent, okay? So in this case, so it's exactly what we just had. So yeah, he tries to sprawl. When he tries to sprawl, I always want to circle out. A lot of people try to go forward, and if I go forward, I'm actually giving him what he wants. So from the side motion, I grab this hook. This is called a Kosoto hook. That's where the whole thing gets its name from. And I go to his hips. And since my opponent's not an idiot, he knows I want to go to his back from here, so he grabs a whizzer, and he is putting a death grip on this whizzer. He does not want me to pull my arm out. So he's got this nice and tight, so that I can't pull it out. Okay? So we're going to do a variation of what we did yesterday. Sorry, Chris, this is not going to be pleasant for you. So if I can't get my arm out because he's got his death grip, I take my hand and I reach forward. And I think Chris can testify this is not a pleasant position for him. So, and it's actually a really powerful reach. We did a variation of this yesterday. I want to do another variation, but important with that motion. I am not coming and pressing down. Chris is very strong in this motion. If I try to press down from here, I'm not going to get anything. What I have to do is, with my hand, I try to touch the wall on that side of the room, and I reach forward. And that way, in that direction, I'm stronger than he is. Okay? So from here, I can either keep my hand like this or just put it on his head, and I go into a 4-point, and do this slowly because this is not nice on Chris's shoulder. I step over so that I'm 90 degrees to his body, and I grab the first hook. From here, to be nice to our opponent, we let go. If you want to be mean to your opponents, you do not let go, but since we're all friends here, I don't want anyone to be mean. And I grab the first part of my seatbelt, grab the second part of my seatbelt, and I have his back. Okay, so showing the whole motion one more time. So just want to make sure we get everything on film too. Okay, so I've tried for a single leg, I failed, he is sprawling out. I reach low on hook on his shin, and I post with my other hand so that his weight is a bit better kept up on my body and I don't face plant. From here I circle out and grab my hook and go to his hips, and he grabs a whizzer to prevent the back take. So with this hand, reach forward. Go into a 4-point. There are options. We did this yesterday. If he just lets go here, you can go directly into the back take. Yeah, but we're going to assume he doesn't let go. And we move to basically a 90-degree angle and get our first hook. Now, to be nice to Chris, we let the arm go, grab our seatbelt, and roll him over to the back take. Okay, so everyone have a seat?
What would be the not so nice option?
Not letting the arm go.
But also do the back take.
Yeah, to do the back take, you just don't let go of the arm. And I prefer to not send Chris to the hospital, but you can dislocate the shoulder if you do that. If you do a really hard roll and he lands on that shoulder, when you got in that lock, you can dislocate the shoulder. It's not nice, and I don't think Chris wants me to do that too. So, yeah. No, tournaments, I don't care. Dislocate that shoulder, that's fine, but we don't want to do that to each other. I don't like injuries. So, okay, it's clear what I want to see. Since we're an odd number, it's perfect. So, partner up, one person is with me, and everyone just cycles through, and I do it with everyone so I can give everyone direct notes, okay? Okay, so, partner up. Had some questions which inadvertently pointed out the next step. So, we're just assuming we're here, same lead up as before. I come here, but this time my opponent's got a nice good post here with this arm, and that's preventing me from getting a really good push forward, okay? So, when my opponent is even smarter, knows that I'm going to try and push him forward, he posts so they can't do that. I take the hand and I push his head over his post, and that collapses his post. And now I can keep doing the same thing. Yeah, or he just falls down on his own volition. Okay, so that was one of the questions. I think we'll take some time drilling that one. I don't think everyone needs to do that one with me because I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but the main thing is the exact same lead up. We're here, he sprawls, I circle out, get my hook, and he posts right where I want his face to go, so that's blocking my forward progression. So I take my hand and shove it over the post. I'm literally, if you look at what he's doing, the motion his face is making, okay? If I just try to push to the side, that's not enough. I want his head on, if his hand is here, I'm going to push his head on the other side of his hand. And that's going to make his arm collapse. How does this work out? So that's going to make his arm collapse, and now I get his face on the ground again. And depending on how he recovers, if he just goes like this, then I would just smash in and go immediately into my side control. If he tries to reclaim and sort of is able to pull his arm out so he's laying on his shoulder or on his elbow, like this, yeah. So if he's able to come into this position, then I would just execute my back take. And I think we just rolled off camera.
But just the last roll.
Yeah. Okay, so your answer to this problem is the same, but depending on how he reacts, you have two different ways to end this. So, and one just important thing to keep in mind, there will be some people who try to stall in this position, where just try to lock a death grip and try not to move at all. So where it's like this, the problem is he's actually, this feels strong for him. The problem is it's actually not, because now I can just take him down. Because he's so focused on blocking my technique and not moving that he doesn't really have any options to stand up if I just leave the system. It's the sort of situation where I knew some people, they called it dojo syndrome, where you know what's coming, so you block what you know what's coming, and you leave yourself open to a couple of other things that weren't coming, and therefore the technique isn't working. So, but it's kind of a situation of when he's just kind of locked up, you just go somewhere completely different. Just a little point, because the main thing we have to keep in mind here is his job is to make sure that he's able to improve his position, not to block my technique. At the very least when we're actually fighting, because he doesn't want to just sit here and not move when we're actually competing against each other. He wants to improve his position, I want to improve my position. So that's going to make him move differently. So he's not going to lock up and not move and wind up giving me something that is even easier. Okay? So, like I said, let's just toy around with this little variation, and then we'll go to the next step. Okay? So, partner up. I don't think, again, this is very close to the last one, so I don't think everyone needs a nice intensive session. I think this one we can just drill a few times. So. And I want to make sure we go to one that happens a lot. I think that's a So same situation. So, yeah. So he gets the single leg. No, not yet, not yet. I haven't sprawled yet. Okay, so I sprawl, and in this one, I switch sides, and I block the hip here. Now if he tries to come over for the side step, go ahead. Yeah, now I've blocked his side step. Okay? So this is something that happens a lot. Honestly, when I drill this with people, this is the first defense I go to. Because if I can block that side step, I can pressure him better and get my leg free. Okay? So that's the next step on how to beat the sprawl from this position. So he takes the position with me. So yeah. You block my hips with that. No, block my hips. Yeah, exactly, yeah. So what we're going to do from here, we switch the hands on the leg. This leg comes here, and this arm, I basically do an elbow up and use that to pull my head out, and I shoot forward with this leg. Okay, and from here, and I, again, go to my back take. I've heard 1,000 different names for this. Step out, peek out, elbow out. Whatever it is, it's basically, I knew one guy who called it sliding into home plate. So, yeah, but it's like, no, if we're here, what I'm doing is, I have both hands on the leg, I grab deep here, I elbow up, and I shoot forward with both my head and my knee, and with my hand I make sure that I'm looking up. And I want to land in this kind of a position. And from here, I can just go forward with the legs and get to the hips and start my back take. Okay, good. So, okay. This way so that it's easier to see what I'm doing. I'm doing it this way. Yeah. No, I'm doing it to you. You were blocking me. Yeah. Okay, so we're here. Again, this arm comes wrist deep on the leg. This elbow goes up. I bring my head up with this leg, and I want to land here. My head is pressuring into him. I'm looking up. From here, I just bring this leg around. And then walk up to take the back.
One question.
Yeah.
I did it once, and the last time we did it, we put the foot on the ground, and now you just use your knee to get out.
That's actually a different entry.
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually a different entry. That's if he's doing a down block, not if he's doing the blocking of the hips. Arm position is different, so you have to do something different there.
Okay.
But actually, we're not doing that one anymore though, because I actually going through some R&D, I have a better answer to that. Okay. So clear what I want. Okay. So now everyone does this with me.